I have been thinking about starting a new novel. I am calling this Project Submarine. Oh. Welcome back. I don't really know how to start off discussing this. Today we're working on a novel. Pretty much, yeah. So it's not going to be Project Caramel Latte. This is a new thing, and I'm not going to be talking about Project Caramel Latte anymore on this channel unless something massively changes, at least not for the next 6 months or so, if not longer. I did a really long discussion about this in a previous vlog. It's the one right before this if you want to go look, but that's not what we're talking about today. I mentioned in that one, as well as in a previous vlog, that I have been thinking about starting a new novel. It is disconnected from the Project Caramel Latte world. It's a slightly different, I was gonna say a very different genre, but it's not like a massively different genre. It's just different. And it's a different world, different idea, different setting, all of that. It has been an idea that I have been kicking around for a while. It's kind of one of those things of when I come up with a really cool idea for it, I write it down and then I move on. It's always been kind of cooking in the back of my head for a while. I did do a vlog where I started writing the opening words to it. I ended up not using any of what that is. I say using, I'm not, I don't know if I'll even use what I've written now, but I'm entering a competition that is the beginning words of a novel, and I wanted to throw in this novel's beginning words as well because it is a bit different. And I now have an opening that I think is quite nice and good. I need to finish it, but that's what we're working with. I don't have a whole lot to go on, but two things are important. One is you're going to be able to actually watch the process of planning and plotting as well as the writing. With Project Caramel Latte, I kind of started vlogging when I had already done a lot of the work, so that bit wasn't really as detailed or shown. The second thing is that I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about the project than I did with Project Caramel Latte. I'm probably not going to get into the details of plot, but I might share a lot more than just genre. So I'm going to start this vlog by explaining a little bit about the project and the ideas of where it stands right now, because like I said, I have been mulling it over in my brain for a while. I tend to not take on projects as like full-on projects until they're at least slightly more established than like a generic idea, unless they're short stories. It's kind of where we're at right now. I've just elevated this to this is going to be a project, and I've basically not looked at it since. I've decided that, so I can take you on from where we are right now. So let's talk about this project. I am calling this Project Submarine. This has been the name that I've been using for it in all of my notes to myself because I don't have a title, because I don't really have much to go on right now. So calling it Project Submarine has worked. As you can guess, there's going to be submarines involved. Basically, this idea started from a dream, stood out to me quite distinctly, that I woke up after having a dream where I was walking through a submarine, and it was kind of like an old school, very steampunky, felt very Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea kind of submarine, where there was like brass, steam piping everywhere, and it felt kind of strangely luxurious and cozy while still being very mechanical. And I don't remember anything else. I just remember that feeling, and I remember the fact that I was walking through and I knew I was in a submarine, and I woke up and I remembered it, which doesn't happen. And so that made me really like do this deep dive into submarines. So I started learning a lot about submarines. I started getting really interested in deep sea things. I used to have an interest in deep sea things, particularly shipwrecks and stuff. I became really obsessed with shipwrecks when I was like in high school or something like that. That all started really returning to me during this time of like being renewed interest in like deep sea things and submarines and this kind of atmosphere. So that was the start. I wanted to write a book that was this vibe. And so I had vibe first, if that makes sense. I have the aesthetic and the vibe that I want to do first in mind, which is I want to do kind of like a dark academia meets steampunk vibe. So the idea of my world that I am crafting is, it's kind of based on this idea of like English history of how much the church was really kind of the center of things for a really long time. And then, the king was the head of the church, still is the head of the church. However, the flow of power kind of shifted at a certain point, but for a while the church was the central power, and it still is for a lot of places in the world. The church holds the central kind of controlling power. And I thought, what if it was universities? And I kind of want to do a focus on this idea of the corrupt, powerful university. I have had a lot of experience working in higher education as well as being a student in higher education. I know a lot of the really wonderful things about it, but I also know a lot of its corruption and its flaws. And I kind of want to do that. Kind of what we're going to be talking about in the book is this discussion of classism, discussion of education and forms of intelligence, and how we think of intelligence as being formal education, and that's not necessarily the case. That's what we're going to be doing, I think. And the genre that I'm wanting to do is kind of like a horror/mystery. So we're going to do a horror/mystery in a steampunk/dark academia world where there's a lot of discussion about academia, about formal education, and classism. So as you can see, I'm in the very beginning stages. I will probably be doing a couple of things today. The first is that I think I'm going to do a little bit more research and brainstorming on just kind of how things are working. I might want to grab some sea creatures that I might want to reference. And I'm probably going to start doing some logic configuring. So typically the way that I figure out plot is through just writing down my thoughts as they work out the logistics logically. So for example, for a mystery, right? If you have somebody who is dead, you've got a victim. Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is it a big guy? Is it a little guy? Is it a, big woman? Is it a little woman? Like, what is she like? And then you start figuring out, well, how did it get there? And you start working out the logistics of exactly what happened as it goes. What kind of person is this? Why would people want this person dead? And then kind of figuring out how they ended up where they ended up. So kind of working backwards. And sometimes my logics work forwards. So in the case of this particular project, for example, I have a character and I know kind of what's driving her. She's very ambitious and is kind of ambitious forsaking all else. Like, she will burn down the world if it means that she can achieve the things she wants to achieve. Like, she does not give two shits about anything else. And so it means that it allows me to really play with what could possibly happen. I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing this. I have been getting cabin fever. It's been so hot here for like several days, and then it got cool, but it was over the weekend, and I never feel like doing anything over the weekend, especially when it was just hot. Like, I just want to lay down and feel cool for once in my life. So I think I'm going to take advantage of the fact that it's a bit cooler today and go out to a coffee shop. I have also scoped which coffee shops have air conditioning. But I think maybe this afternoon we'll go to a coffee shop with just my writer's notebook in order to work out the writing logistics of stuff. I'm not sure. I haven't really made a plan on what I'm doing, on how I'm configuring this. But yeah, I think that's... Let's start with the beginning sketch out, because I want to get it finished enough where I can then step away from it for a little bit so I can edit it at least 1 or 2 times before I send it off to the competition. So, yeah, let's do that. I think we do that first. Let's do that. Couple of things. Hasn't been that long, but I finished up, it's supposed to be about 1,500 words, and I got to 15, well, it was like 1,550 when I finished up what I felt was like a good opening. Obviously I would keep going if this was for sure the opening. I then reread it to make some quick track changes. It was just one of those things where, you know, quick alterations that I already know are bad. That brought it down to 1526. It needs to be 1,500 words, like as close to 1,500 words as possible. I made a couple of comments to myself for some of the sentences, bits that were a bit clunky. There's a section that I don't think is necessary. Things like that, but I'm not positive yet. I like to have more distance from a piece before I make any kind of big changes, because sometimes it's kind of like looking at it with fresh eyes. So that's done. Outside my office window, they are doing like construction stuff, and it's loud, which is annoying. I don't know why they only ever do this on days that I'm recording. I swear they know. So what I'm thinking of doing is, it's about 11:23. I was planning on going to a coffee shop after lunch, but I don't know. I might go before. I might go now, come back, have lunch, and then assess where we're at. Because I've got a couple of other things that I wouldn't mind doing today if I have time, but we'll see. I didn't really put any kind of like finalizations of what I want to be doing today for this. Like, I don't have any tasks or anything like that. It's just like, think about this fucking project, which is fantastic for me. But I think that's what we're going to do. So it's about 11:24. We can go to a coffee shop, be there for like an hour, come back, have lunch. Yeah, let's do it. So basically what I'm going to be doing at the coffee shop, because I'm not going to be able to, it's not that notebook. Because I'm probably not going to be able to explain it there because A, the coffee shop will be loud, and B, I'm still not very great at vlogging in public. I'm getting better. But I have submarine designs. It's not like I don't have a plot at all, because I think otherwise I wouldn't be able to write 1,500 words, because like I know what the plot I think is going to be involving. Like, I know what the hook I think is going to be. I just don't really know anything other than that. So I know what the mystery is element. I know my main character, and I know the problems that she is being thrown into. I just don't know how it all works out and how different things all connect. So that's kind of what I have to work out, is how everything is connected, what's going on, and basically how the plot would unfold. I don't think I'm going to solve the whole plot today. I don't think I've ever done it that quickly, but I need to make some kind of progress. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's go get a coffee. All right, we are back. We are fed. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what has happened today. I have 2 mugs. I have 2 mugs. I only need 1 mug. Also swung by the library to see if they had any books that were of any particular interest in regards to some of the research that I want to do. I couldn't really find any, but it was also hard to really determine what was there. They don't really have a lot of info on the books. It's just this book is here, which is nice, but I need to like do research to figure out whether or not it's a useful one. But I did see that they had this book of short stories that I want to read. Unrelated, but I want to. So I ended up bringing my laptop with me, and then I like didn't use it at all. And I just sat with my notebook, which was nice, to be fair. It really gave me the space to really think things through. So the way that I kind of write out my notes, like if you were to arrange these thoughts into some kind of linear fashion, it would look like one of those like flowchart trees, right? So what I'm gonna do now is pull up my computer to the Millinote page and actually like write down the stream that I think I'm going to choose. So from all of those different options kind of going, you know, along down of this is what I think I'm going to do. And then I want to not keep chasing this right now. I always like doing quite a bit and then taking a step back, and then I can come at it with fresh eyes again, having kind of been mulling it over, been really thinking through things, coming back again and going, okay, so now what? I think the other thing I'm going to do though is I think I'm going to do a little bit of that research that I wanted to find books for, but just do it on the computer. The main thing is underwater stuff. So my idea is that the submarine element of it is essentially like a research ship, for lack of a better word. They're kind of using that as an exploration. My main character, I think, is going to be an archaeologist. I've been kind of just working under that assumption the whole time. So, but what I want is to kind of get an idea of just kind of what stuff would look like, what you would find, and be linking it back to what I'm thinking is going to be kind of pulling you towards this discovery. So I can also be thinking about potentially what this horror... I have an idea of what I want the horror element to be, but I'm not positive yet. Like, I keep getting pulled in this direction and it makes me want to do it, but I don't really know why. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you don't know the whys of it, it makes it harder to feel like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. But I keep just wanting to do it. So it is currently 10 to 2. Maybe just like an hour or two is all we're going to spend on this. And then that's it. That's it for the day, I think, is where we're going to end it. So let's do that. Okay. I just had to share this, that apparently what I just read was that the UK had a ban on women in submarines until. Now, before I say the date, I want you to think about when in time you think the UK lifted their ban on women on submarines in regards to the Navy. Okay, I have now let you think. They lifted the ban in 2013. 2013! Oh my god! And then there was like only the first female mariners and stuff, and it was in May of 2014. May of 2014. I was almost moving to the country at that point. Holy shit. The US Navy rescinded its no women on subs policy in 2010. Oh, I hate this place sometimes. I just hate this world sometimes. Oh my God. That's too recent. That is too recent. Ugh. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. It's about 3 o'clock, so it's only for about an hour that I was going, but I was starting to find me going back to my brainstorming page and adding more to it and noting things that I need to figure out, which I know I need to figure them out. I'm not done yet. So I'm gonna put it away for now because I think I need to like marinate on it before I come back and start figuring out the bigger logistics of kind of what's going on, the whys behind everything and some of the hows. But I think I have a lot more in mind about the plot. I think I know a little bit more about where it's going and some of the elements of it, and I'm starting to piece together some of the bigger themes that I'm going to be working with. And it's all very exciting. I'm excited to be working on a new novel and just getting out of a particular brain space and going into a new one. I think it'll be fun. Thanks for being with me on this very exciting new journey, new foray into a new space and new ideas. I'm really excited about where this could go. I'm obviously at the stage right now where it could go in a lot of different directions. It could look 1,000 different ways by the end of it because I haven't solidified anything. And in many ways, I think this is far more exciting. I really love plotting. It's so much, it feels like a puzzle, but like a puzzle that you are creating as you go along. I find it really fun. So anyway, we're gonna keep working on this as we go. Just piece by piece, slowly. We don't need to rush things. We're not on a tight deadline. We can just do things at a pace that makes sense, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I did, as I said, quite a lot of configuring. I know now a lot more about the plot and where I want things going. I have more than just a main character now. I'm starting to add other people into the mix. And I think I know roughly what kinds of conversations I want to have. I know where things might be headed, but I don't really know fully yet. There's still a lot of question marks. There's still a lot of things I need to figure out. I am really excited about coming back to this and configuring more and learning more and piecing things together even more. I think it'll be really exciting. So anyway, I hope you're at least finding it slightly exciting. I know that it's probably more exciting for me than it would be for you, but yeah, I just enjoy this process so much. So we're just going to enjoy the process, and I hope you enjoy it along with me. And I hope that if you're not someone who likes plotting, maybe I'm helping to get you more interested in it. Potentially. We'll see. Anyway, I am going to go, and I will see you next time. Bye!